This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com/psychetruth.
Hey guys, welcome. My name's Tessa and I'm going to be working on Tyler. We're going to be doing a arm and neck massage, and I'm going to start with a sequence that I think you guys will really enjoy. So unlike a lot of my other sessions, I'm going to go ahead and just go in with my balm. A lot of the times I'll do compressions to start, but not today. I like to melt that balm in my hands before and kind of warm it up a little. And I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that the oil is everywhere that I need it so that I don't have to keep taking my hands off of Tyler. And just a little bit of effleurage feels nice. And I'm going to go ahead and start going in with a little bit of pressure. It's a really nice way to get into the traps a little bit. It's nice not to go too fast. The triceps, I mean. It's nice to just go nice and slow. And it's nice to do as much seated work as possible when, when you don't lose your effectiveness. Go ahead and just start in. It can feel really nice if you kind of scoop up that muscle tissue, a little petrissage in there. And actually, like this angle, is your shoulder okay? This angle's kind of easier to really get in with the petrissage. So, especially when you're working on someone that has, that's pretty muscular, just finding ways where you're not lifting their weight a whole lot, that's good. And this is a nice position to get into the front side of the arm a little bit. I'm just going to angle that arm a little. Just doing little circles. Really not too focused on doing anything too intense today. Some combination of relaxing and more medium pressure. This is a nice position to get into some of those attachments around the elbow, and it's a misconception to think that massaging the bony structures isn't healing. It certainly is. You just need to be really delicate when you're working around those bony structures. And I'm gonna go ahead and just place. Does that hurt your arm?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just place Tyler's hand on my leg, and this requires no effort on my part, and I have a perfect position to work on this forearm. So I'm gonna go ahead and just making sure that Tyler's arm doesn't fall off my leg as I work. And working on this These extensor muscles are really important, especially for people that do a lot of desk work, computer time. This is a nice position to do deep tissue in as well if you're going to, just because you can really focus on applying the pressure without holding the weight. And again, I'm doing more medium pressure today. Nice firm touch, but nothing too intense. It's okay if you need to reposition the hands a little more stable. Just taking my time here. Can be a nice way to kind of stretch the wrist joint, pulling down. And I'll go ahead and start in with some hand massage. It's actually a lot easier to do this kind of thumb work in the hand if you're facing towards the hand. Usually feels really nice. There's a lot of different muscles in the hand and a lot of soft tissue. Really, you can spend as long as you want here, but if your thumbs start to feel tired, it's good to find other ways to work on the palm. Actually really like using my elbow for palm work just because it's easy and it feels good. Most people really like having their hands worked on, but there are some who just don't enjoy it, so all the more reason to communicate with your massage partner or your client, whoever. Can do kind of broader circles. I like to really drag my forearm. Oop. Did you get all that? Sure. I like to just drag my forearm and my elbow all the way past the fingers. And it just feels really soothing. This might not feel the same as when I use my thumbs, but it's still a really nice way to work. I'm just going to tease these fingers, really encouraging all these joints to relax, let go. And this is a really easy place for your client to tell if you are present or not. Like if you skip a finger, probably not the best. Just staying present. I like to just give that arm a nice stretch. This feels really good for the fingers. And I'm gonna move into some neck work, so I really like to create a little more space in the neck to work with. This is my favorite way to do upper trap work in the neck. This kind of work is really hard unless your client's prone. So, nice firm pressure, but not too deep. This is a really great way to get into the scalenes as well. And it's easier to kind of find the scalenes, I think, when you're working prone. It can be a little confusing when your client is face up to know if you're working on the SCM or the scalenes, at least when you're first starting out. It's just easier, in my opinion. At least when you're first getting started. And you can also kind of make these muscles a little more taut by using both of your hands. So one hand is pushing and the other hand is pulling. And I really think that anytime you can find a moment to do this kind of work, it just usually feels really nice. And it also forces you to be a little more engaged. Do little circles, the occipitals, and just doing little circles along the occipital ridge. Really nice way to begin or end neck work. And my focus today is more on providing, relaxation than anything. If I had a client who had chronic neck pain, I might spend quite a bit of time here. And oops. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and move to the opposite side. So I should have plenty of oil on this arm when I started. And just kind of explore, different positions of the arm when you're massaging. This can be a nice position if you're seated, but just like on the other side, this is kind of my favorite just because more of the arm's exposed. So this petrissage usually feels great. Arm. And just offering Tyler a caring, assertive touch. So really wanting him to have the best experience, so just staying present and taking care of myself as I give the massage by staying in tune with my breath. And it's just nice when you can find ways to do massage where you're seated and you can do what you need to do. And I actually need a little more oil. And I usually don't, with the hand placement on the leg, I'm not going to do that if I'm working on a client I've never worked on before, and if they're kind of just getting used to massages. Like, you really have to kind of take it. Everybody's different, so. It's always nice when you can use both thumbs, just because it kind of takes the pressure off of just using one. There's other ways of working on the extensor muscles when your client's prone, but I think they require a lot more effort and maybe aren't as effective. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this arm work on the right side. And all we really have left is the hand before I go in to the neck. I don't know why, but alternating thumbs feels so good on the palm. If you're starting to feel like, if this is your last client of the day and you're starting to feel like mentally fatigued, I would say just doing like nice broad strokes that require less mental like concentration is good, and it's still going to feel really good to your client. And more often than not, when I have 50 minutes or an hour with a client, it actually goes by really fast. So this is usually how I do my arm work, just because, my hand work, because it just feels really good and it doesn't take a whole lot of time to kind of massage the whole hand. Just like on the other side, you can do kind of semicircles around the palm. You can do full circles, kind of finding a rhythm of what feels good. I always end with a nice long, slow run across the fingers, and I'm just teasing these fingers, just making sure that Tyler's hand is supported with my right hand so it doesn't move around. Do this. Kind of forgot to do that arm or that wrist stretch, so I want to include that. And okay, so the arm's in a nice position to do that neck work. So I'm gonna go right in to that upper trap. And you can do this standing. You can do nice supported thumb. It's actually quite a bit easier. But once you kind of start to, if your goal is to get into the scalene muscles, you're probably going to need to sit down and work in a different way. And if somebody wants deep tissue neck work, I don't really ever do that prone. I just think it's a lot harder for me. But when I'm more focused on the upper trap, I'll kind of rethink things. Guys, before we end this session, I just want to thank a few of our patrons. I'd like to thank Sophie Freeman, Andrew, and Gil C. Thank you guys so much for your support. And just finishing up with this kind of lighter work along this occipital ridge. And if I had another 20 minutes, I would stay here for longer, but not today. It can feel really nice to massage in there a little more broadly. So just being careful not to smash Tyler's head into the face cradle. And I love doing neck work this way because you have a lot of strength. It's a great angle to be working. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you for joining us today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and we look forward to seeing you next time.